So, good evening, all. My name is Akash Solunke, and today I am going to present my topic for data analytics oral examination. My roll number is S1909530003. So, the outline of this video is that this question 1 execution, data wrangling, question 2 concept, roles of data analyst, question 3 concept correlation plot on iris dataset, and question 3 execution on Google Colab, and question 4 concept on data visualization. So moving on to the question one. Question one execution is perform data wrangling, mean removal, scaling, normalization, and binarization operation. The given array is 3, minus 1.5, comma 3, comma minus 6.4, 0, comma 3, comma 1 point, minus 1.3, comma 4.1, comma 1, comma 2.3, comma minus 2.9, comma minus 4.3. So in real world we usually come across a lots of raw data which is not actually which is not actually uh, given as input to the machine learning algorithm. So these data needs to be pre-processed. So there are various techniques to pre-process the data. These pre-processing is called data wrangling, and these techniques are mean removal, scaling, normalization, and binarization. So so I have I have I have the codes of data wrangling here on Google Colab. So explaining the first code, import NumPy as NP. It will import the NumPy library from sklearn. That is this sklearn library. We are importing pre-processing packages, and here we have input data equal to, we have typed the array elements here. So moving on to the next, data standardization. That that is mean removal. So what is mean removal? Mean removal is actually removing the mean values from each feature so that it is centered to zero. It is centered to zero. That is here print mean data underscore standardized dot mean axis equal to zero, and standard deviation is data standardized dot standard axis equal to zero. So the mean removal is done, and the mean is almost zero, and standard deviation is 111. So moving on to the data wrangling, data scaling. So here data scaler equal to pre-processing min max scaler, feature range equal to 0 to 1, the range is 0 to 1, data scaled equal to data scaler dot fit transformation input data, and here we are printing min max scaled. So scaling is done because the input of data are very random values, and they need to be scaled for the pre-processing at the, so that they comply to the specific rules which are needed. So here is the scale data, that is the range is give we have given 0 to 1, so 1 0 1 0 0.2, none of them are going above 1, and none of them are less than 0. So 101001 0.2711 0.3 0.840, and last 0.2. So moving on to the next, normalization of the data wrangling. So normalization is adjusting the values in feature vectors so that they are to be measured in a scale, so that they measure on a common scale. So we done that we do would do that by data underscore normalized equal to pre-processing dot normalize input data norm L1. So here we are printing normalized data, that is this 0.2 minus 0.14. This whole array is normalized data so that they can be measured on a same scale. Now moving on to the data binarization. What is data binarization? It is used to convert numerical features of vector into Boolean vector. This technique is actually helpful when we have prior knowledge of data. That is, here in this question we have given the data, so we have prior knowledge of data. So data underscore binarized equal to pre-processing dot binarizer threshold equal to 1.4 dot transform input underscore data, and here we are printing binarized data equal to binarized, that is this. So the output of this is 1010 0101 and 0100. So this was it for the question number 1. Now moving on to the question number 2, what are the important responsibilities of a data analyst? So data analyst is someone who looks into information and data, so it will help their employers. What they actually do is that they analyzes the data and make results out of it, so that their employers or whom they are working with can make changes or analyze about them. So what are their responsibilities are like producing reports. For example, there is a company which has a product in market. So what data analysts do what data analyst does is that they take the sales record of that product and of other products of the comparison, and they compare the data. They actually visualizes the data so that they can actually get meaningful information from it, like where their products are lacking or what changes they need to do to make more impact in the market share, and spotting the patterns. That is, for example, a product in the market, at what time its sales is very high or its sales is very low. I'm taking an example with a product of a company which the company are selling. So they need to analyze. They data analysts spots the pattern at what, for example, at what time of month the product sales are very high and what time the product sales are very low. And collaborating with others, they actually have to work in teams. They are rarely work single, so they actually work in teams. So they have to collaborate with them about products and what outputs and results they are getting. And moving on to collecting data and setting up infrastructure. So streamlining data collection is the key for data analysts. They usually work to develop routines that can be automated and easily modified for reuse in the other areas. They also have to design and maintain data systems and databases for the data collection for their employers. So that's what actually data analysts do. And so moving on to the question third, find the correlation matrix. Plot the correlation plot on dataset and visualize, giving an overview of relationship among data on iris dataset. So a correlation matrix is a tabular data representing correlation between pairs of variables of a given data. That is what we call a correlation matrix. So moving on to the iris dataset. Iris dataset is a flower dataset introduced by British biologist Ronald Fisher in his 1936 paper. The dataset consists of 50 samples of data, each of three species of iris flower, that is Centosa, Iris virginica, and Iris versicolor. So the four features that Fisher measured was from each sample was the length and width of sepals and petals in centimeters. So moving on to the execution, let us go to Google Collaboratory for the execution part. And so for this, we have to actually upload the iris dataset, which I have already done. So let us go cell by cell for the iris dataset. So in first cell, import pandas, it will import pandas library. sklearn dataset, it imports load iris, and chained assignment is assigned to 0. And here we are reading iris.csv, this iris dataset. And from sklearn model, we have train test split. What this does is actually it will split the datasets and arrays into random, and it will train them and tests them. And from naive bias, it will import, i- from sklearn.naive underscore base import Gaussian NB. It is actually a Gaussian and naive Bayes theorem. It uses from sklearn import SVM, that is support vector machine, import Seaborn library as SNS, matplotlib as PLT, and sklearn matrix mean squared error from. So here basically we import all the libraries that we will be required for this visualization. So I've run this and they are imported. So let us move on to the next cell, data frame dot head. What this actually does is that it will print out n number of default values, that n number of column rows in the table, first n. So when n is not specified, it will by default be giving first 5 entries of the table. So moving on to the next cell, SNS dot face grid data frame hue equal to species size 5 map map in bracket plat dot plt dot scatter sepal length sepal width in centimeters and dot add underscore length. So what this actually does is it forms a scatter plot of various or of the three species of the flower, that is Iris centosa, Iris versicolor, and Iris virginica. That Iris virginica in green color, Iris versicolor in orange color, and Iris centosa in blue color. And they it forms a scatter plot of sepal width on y-axis and sepal length on x-axis. So it gives different values of the flower species, what is their length, what is the sepal length and sepal widths of each flower length, each flower species. So moving on to the next cell, SNS dot face grid data frame hue equal to species size by map. This plots a scatter plot of petal length and petal width of the same three flower species. So the upward mark of the scatter plot shows positive correlation of the petal length and petal width, petal length on x-axis and petal width on y-axis. Blue color for Iris centosa, orange color for Iris versicolor, and green color for Iris virginica. So moving on to the this cell. So what this cell does is that it actually prints a heat map, correlationship matrix. It is also called correlationship matrix. It imports Seaborn as SNS. It imports correlationship matrix to see parameters which best correlate with each other. So according to this above plot, we get to know that petal width and petal length have correlationship, and it is proved by this plot. So CORR, that is correlationship matrix equal to data frame dot CORR, SNS dot heat map CORR for the CORR, and X label as column value, X tick labels equal to CORR dot column dot values, and PLT dot show, it will print. So it gives a correlationship matrix of sepal length in centimeter, sepal width, petal width, and ID, that is same on the y-axis ID, sepal length in centimeter, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. And the color density shows the number, the density, the number it has, that is this black for minus 0.4 and 1.0 for the skin color. So moving on to the next cell, in order to run bias classifier, we have to replace the species values. So what this does is that it replaces the species name, that is Iris centosa, with the value 1, Iris virginica with value 2, and Iris versicolor value with 3. So I have run this now, it has changed. Now to check if it has changed, we we will do data frame species dot unique. So it is printing array 1, 3, comma 4, 1 for Iris centosa, 2, 3 for Iris versicolor, and 2 for Iris virginica. So moving on to the next code, I the this code is actually used for training and splitting the data set. Here it will split the data set up in random values and train the data set. These values are the output values are here shown: X train, Y train, X test, and Y test. So X train ID sepal length, sepal width, sepal centimeter, 90 row cross 4. X test, X train, Y train, and Y test. So these are the values for training and testing the data sets. And here it will train and test the model. Here they use Gaussian naive Bayes theorem, which is Gaussian NB in bracket. It is implemented, and the score returns actually the mean accuracy on the given iris data set and the tables, which is 0.9833333. So this was it for the question number 3. Now let's get back to the PPT and moving on to the question number 4, that is concept we have to explain. So I have taken a data visualization concept using Matplotlib library. And I am going to show how to make basic plots using Matplotlib library. So what so the first thing that comes into our mind is, what is data visualization? Data visualization allows us to quickly interpret data. It is placing of data in visual form. It is the discipline in which we understand data by placing it in a visual context so that patterns, trends, or hidden details that are not visible when we directly look at the data in table are exposed in visual representation. The reasons for visual representation are, observe the pattern, that is, we can observe the hidden details, patterns of the data, uh, which most of the times we cannot be able to observe because it is just in table and they table and is in part of entries. So observe the pattern, identifying extreme values. So when there are too many entries in the table, it is very difficult to find extreme values. So by plotting the entries on by visualizing the entries, it is very easy to find the extreme values, and it is very easy to interpret it for anyone. So moving on to the next slide, Matplotlib. We use Matplotlib library. It is a 2D plotting library which produces good quality of figure. It has its origin from MATLAB, but it is actually independent from MATLAB. So we do not have to use MATLAB for this, and it uses NumPy and other extension code to increase its performance and output significantly. So the first thing is scatter plot. A scatter plot is a set of points that represent values obtained for two variables plotted on horizontal and vertical axis. It is u- it is used to convey relationship between two numerical variables. It is actually used to compare numerical variables. It shows the relationship between two numerical variables. They show how two variables are correlated with each other. That is correlation what they show. These are actually markers. The- These are the markers for each data point that is available in the table. So now we will go to Google Colab for the code execution and explanation for scatter plot. So for this scatter plot, I have taken a sample data of Toyota.csv. It is a sample data. So in the first line, we are import pandas as PD, importing pandas library, importing NumPy libraries, and importing matplotlib libraries as PLT to do visualization, NumPy to do numerical operations, and pandas to work with different data frames. Here cars underscore data equal to pd dot read underscore csv. Here what we do is that we are actually reading this toyota dot csv file, and from what point we have to start reading at from point 0000 we are reading, or we can say importing data. So I have run this and it is run. Now moving on to the next, here cars underscore data dot head. Here we are printing the data. It is same as the thing, last program where I have explained that when it prints n entries, but when n is not defined, it will print first five. So same is here. It has printed first five, 0 to 4 entries of the table. Now cars underscore data dot shape, it actually shows the number of rows and columns. 1436 is number of rows and 10 is the number of columns. Now moving on to the next, cars underscore dot drop na, x is equal to 0 in place 2. It will actually drop missing values. And cars underscore data dot shape, it will show the data now that 51 rows and 10 columns are there. So now plotting the scatter plot, here plt dot scatter, what we have to take on x-axis and y-axis values. Plt dot title, it will give title of the scatter plot, that is scatter plot of price versus age of the car. Plt dot x label, age month, that is x axis label. Plt dot y label, price euros, that is y axis label. And plt dot show for printing the plot. So the plot is printed like this: on x-axis age of the vehicles and on y-axis price, that is in euros of the vehicles. So going back to the PPT, now let us move on to the next plot, that is histogram. So histogram, it is a graphical representation of data using bars of different heights. It is used to group numbers into ranges of heights of each bar depicts the frequency of each range. That is, each bar depicts the frequency, that number of occurrences in the data. It is used to represent frequency distribution of numerical variables. It actually represents frequency distribution of the data variables that are present in the data set. Now again, I would like to go back to Google Colab for the explanation of histogram code. So this is a basic default histogram code: plt.hist for histogram, cars underscore data kilometer, that is histogram with default value. So when I run it, it will print a histogram of the kilometers the number of cars have driven. That is, for like 10 cars have driven more than 80,000, approx 80,000 kilometers. So uh, getting a little bit higher side, going little bit more on the histogram side, we can actually make histograms like this, that is plt.hist car car data kilometer. And now color of the histogram is changed to red, and we can actually color these edges. So edge color equal to black and bins equal to 7. So 7 bars are there, so we can actually uh, give bins according to our need. And plt.title, it will give this name histogram of km, title of the histogram. And plt.x label kilometer, that is x axis label. Plt.y label gives frequency, that is y axis label. Plt.show gives printing of the histogram, that is it prints the histogram. So going back to the PPT, this is like this histogram is printed. Now moving on to the next, that is bar plot. A bar plot is a plot that presents categorical data with rectangular bars with lengths proportional to the counts they represent. It is used to represent frequency distribution of categorical variables, and it actually compares data set between different groups that is present in the data set. It compares sets of data, that is, I'm sorry, it compares sets of data. And it is also used to frequency distribution. So now going back to the Google Colab, uh, this code is for bar plot, that is bar plot counts is 979 fuel type petrol, diesel and CNG, that is three variables petrol, diesel and CNG, and index equal to NP arrange length, fuel type. So we run this, and now moving on to the next cell, plt dot bar index counts color equal to yellow, blue and red, yellow for petrol, blue for diesel and red for CNG, x level as x axis label as fuel types, y axis label to frequency, and x plt dot x sticks index fuel type and rotation. Rotation 30 means the rotation of this x axis labels, that is rotated to 30 degrees, and it will print the bar plot like this. And by looking at the bar plot, we can show that most of the cars use petrol type as its fuel because its frequency is highest, near to 1000 number. So moving back to the PPT, I would like to conclude my exam, and thank you for watching my video. My name is Akash Solunke. My exam seat number is S1909530003. IRN number is N19003. I am from second year electronics and telecommunication engineering. Thank you all.